everyone, Paul into Scale Modeler. Today I've got a review of the Trumpeter 132 ME262. This is the A-1a variant. This is actually our June prize draw prize, kindly donated by Tim at Value Kits. So this is going to air just before the July news show. So if you've got your name down on the forum in the prize draw thread, one of you guys stands a chance to win this. Now, I've actually reviewed this kit already because the original part I did of this vanished off my camcorder, so I've had to refilm this after the kit review, which I never normally do. I normally do this before, so I've already seen the kit as we're going through this now. It looks a good kit, it's got a few flaws, but what kit doesn't at the end of the day? And I think it costs about £50–55 from Timber Value Kits. So for what you get in there, you get etch, white metal landing gear, colour callouts, excellent instructions. It looks a stunning aircraft, and it's going to be quite big, 132 as well. So I mentioned in the video about getting one. I actually went out a week later and bought the two-seater version, which does look a slightly better kit. It's a bit more polished, there's not as many faults in there. So if you're thinking about it, if you really got your heart set on the single-seater, this kit's fine. But I went for the two-seater, just because it came along at the right price, to be honest. Like I said, donated by Tim at Value Kits, very generously donated. So if you need anything, go see Tim. Like I said, this has all been done and the kit looks great. I'm a big fan of the 262, so always a bonus to review a kit of a plane I like. So we'll head over to the workbench, but first, cue the video. Okay, over on the workbench. So, box art, absolutely stunning. We've got 262, I've got a Strickland Lancaster, fantastic bit of box art. Love the 262, always have liked it. I think it's an iconic looking jet, very, very sleek. one of the first jet fighters, and I just absolutely love them. I just finished a 148 Hobby Boss kit. That looked absolutely superb. Contemplating a 132, and I'll be contemplating this because this looks absolutely stunning. But a very quick look inside, and it looks absolutely spot on. So, like I say, box art's great. Really nice picture there. On the sides, you get one of the camera patterns. Well, there's two variants there. Both very smart. I like this one with the camera pattern on the tail. That's pretty smart. The other one's got a bit of mottling on the tail. Both very nice camera patterns. On the side, same picture as the front. And on the back, we've got a bit of info there showing. I've got the overhead one so you can see a bit better. So you've got clear engine covers, which I've seen. Obviously the access to the back with the radio gear and what have you, compass. Into the gun bays, which is nice. And obviously the view into the cockpit. So that's really good. Hopefully these can be kept open. That was the floor of the Hobby Boss one. Keeping it open left a huge gap each side. It didn't look good at all. So hopefully that'll make a much better rendition for it. It'll look a lot better. Bit of information on the side. I'm not going to read it because there's quite a bit there. So if you want to read it, have a little pause, have a little read, and see what you can see. So there you go. Right, so we'll open it up and we'll start seeing what we've got in the box. So not a huge box, consider it's 132, it's not the biggest of boxes. So we'll pop that there. We get everything out. Now, like I said, I've had a sneak peek of what we've actually got in here. But I haven't had an in-depth look. So I was just that curious because it's a kit I'm really interested in getting. So I really want to have a look, see what we get. Sprues, we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So just 8 sprues, so not a major intake. We've got a box of goodies there as well, which we'll get to in a little bit. Decals, instructions, away we go. So, we'll start with the biggest one first, which will be this one. So, I'm going to make a little bit of room, because I always get cluttered, as you guys can see. Try to get out your shot so you can see all cluttered in one corner. So, nice to see heat seal bags again, as always. Beautiful surface detail. That is really nice. We've got a bit of flash, unfortunately, but the surface detail is very nice. We've got a bit of marring on some of the plastic, but overall really good. Now a little bit of flash here. I'm going to zoom in because I'm going to show you all that surface detail. So I've got a bit of flash just there. You can see it behind my index finger. Does run down the whole length of that. That really, there's a little bit of flash on the edges, a tiny little bit here and there. There is a bit, I will admit that, a little bit disappointing, but the surface detail, you can see that, makes up for that no end, because that is absolutely stunning. You've got absolutely beautiful panel lines and not overdone. If I can get the camera's white bounce back, I'll be able to see a bit better. I'll come up. So you've got really nice panel lines and not overdone, they're not trench like. That rivet detail is fantastic. Absolutely beautiful on the whole length of that, all the way along, and on the underbelly. Absolutely superb. Now the marring is just there, whether you can see it or not I don't know. There's a little bit of marring and bearing just there. Few marks here and there, but I think we can negate that little bit of flash just for the sheer surface detail. Once you get a wash in that, that is going to look phenomenal. The Hobby Boss kit, to be fair, surface detail is really good on that. This being a much larger aircraft in this scale is going to look, I hope, as good, if not better. Now, like I say, this is a kit I'm really interested in buying. So I've got kind of not an ulterior motive for reviewing this, but I'm really interested to see what we get. We'll do the main fuselage halves, which, jeez Christ, that's big. Compared to the 148 I've just made, that's huge. absolutely massive. Jesus, that is a monster. So we've got 2 sprues. I'll put one to the side. We'll get to that in a minute. And we'll deal with the fuselage halves. We've got bulkheads, the nose, the rear part, undercarriage, and what will be the cockpit tub. I'm just having a look to see what we've got, and then I'll get to it. Oh my god, that's absolutely ginormous. Compared to that 148, the 148 was probably, in total, look at behind me, yeah, it was probably to about there. So we've got a fair old length on it, being a bigger scale. Again, it's got that beautiful rivet detail on there. I'll come in. I'm going to go in as far as we can. There you go. So we've got that lovely rivet detail all along there, which looks absolutely stunning. Panel lines are lovely, they're not too deep. All the way around, as you can see, all on the wing roots. Absolutely beautiful. Like I say, once you add a wash to that, it's going to look absolutely stunning. So, absolutely beautiful kit. We've got the radar hoop, obviously the landing gear bay, which is this. Sorry, not landing gear, the undercarriage bay. That's the top half of it underneath, and that'll be the cockpit tub. The top, I'm assuming. Got bulkheads with a bit of detail on. Obviously, the top of the nose. And again, there's no flash on this. Really, anyway, there's a little, no, there isn't. There's a little wisp just there of something, but it's not really flash. Everything's really nicely done on this. Spot on. Now, how well those fuselage halves close together, I do not know. That's a little bit iffy there. Just notice this there. You can see that. I'll zoom in again. So right along here, you can see that line. That's not great because there's the other one. Get the light to catch. So that one's a lot crisper. So that's a little bit of a shame. That's a mismoulding or what that is. Quite a significant mark on there, which is a bit of a shame, but the RRP on this kit, I think it is about £50 to £55. Again, it was donated from Tim of Value Kits, which is always great of Tim to do. We appreciate it immensely, and it for £55, 132. It's a large kit, and there are a lot of extras in this because I've seen them. I think it's going to be a case of you are going to get a few little bits and bobs that might need a little bit of attention. That's a real shame about that part there, because there's no real way of rectifying that. All you could do with that is knock it back with a sander and try and rescribe it or re-add the detail, which is not going to be an easy job to do. But like I say, for £55, it's a 132 kit. It does look, to be on the face of it, quite nice. Right, we've got another, I'm assuming that's a alternative nose. That's got the 4 guns, the other one had the 2. We've got the assuming they're the horizontal stabilizer, the wheels, tyres, which aren't too bad. 2-piece, bit of flash on them, but not too bad at all. Landing gear struts, which I don't think we need, and there's white metal ones in this, which is nice. We'll get to that in a little bit when we get to instructions. And again, all the small parts, they're all fairly well moulded. There's no real problems. A little bit of flash just there. Plastic, it does look rather soft in place. It might just be the flash that's giving that impression. 2004 kit, so it's a 10-year-old kit. I've just seen the date at the top of the sprue. But again, overall, doesn't look too bad. Front landing wheel, landing gear. So I'm assuming you have 2 different variants of the front landing gear, because there's 2 different wheels. So yeah, nice little touch. These are the gun bay covers just here, which again covered in crap, and dust and what have you. Whether it's a bit of static from when it's been in the bag, I don't know. The thing I would say is a bit of the rivet detail on these parts and these, they're the under carriage ones, is a little bit soft. The riveting's a little bit softer than it is on like these, so bear that in mind. Obviously it may be worth accentuating that a little bit more, but other than that, it looks okay to me. Certainly not enough to put me off buying it, and I'm a very fussy person over my kits. I'm not sure of any other 132 262s out there that are going to come with the level of extras this comes with for the same price. I certainly look into it, because as you guys know, I have turned into a little bit of a kit snob, unfortunately. Like I always say, I've got a lot of rubbish kits over the years. I don't really want to anymore. 2 identical sprues, so we get rid of one. Looks to be a lot of engine components. We've got the guns, which are just there, as you can see. A lot of engine components, intakes, quite flashy parts, just a little bit here and there. Shouldn't take too much to clean up though. Although it's flash, it isn't massive, it's just wisps. Nobody likes flash, it can be a bit of a pain. If this was a Tamiya kit, £100 kit, then I'd be complaining. Like I say, for £50 for a 132 kit with the extras this comes with, I could put up with that. I know I've been criticised for calling out flash before, but I'm going to call it out, of course, it's part of a review. But it is easier removed, it is only little bits and bobs that you want. Drag over one of our UMP sponges and it'll be gone. But all the surface detail looks good, the intake fans, the guns, meh. They're not the most detailed, but they're not the most interesting guns to look at in the first place. I'd probably do what I did with the 148 one, which used Mr. Hobby buffer balls. Buffer it all up, open the gun bay covers, it looks absolutely spot on. So again, lovely bit of kit there. Another sprue. The good thing about the 262, there are not a lot of components to it, so it's a fairly quick build. Now we've got instrument side console panels, which are here. We've got bulkheads, 3 of them, the seat, control stick, engine supports, the front landing gear bay. What else have we got? We've got various components for, I'm assuming, landing gear, cockpit, rear undercarriage. Not the greatest detail on the actual side consoles for the cockpit, but I'm not sure how much detail a real one has. If it has a lot more than this, then I'd maybe look into add aftermarket to it, maybe get an Edward zoom set for it. A big head set would probably be good for this as well, but if you can cope with that much photo etch, then that's your choice. But you know, there are buttons there, and that once you get it painted, dry brushed, a bit of a wash in there, it will bring out the detail quite a bit. Interesting to see the instrument panel, which I did see before. I haven't seen when it actually sticks, to be honest, because I haven't seen the actual panel itself, but we'll get to that when we get to instructions. But like these little parts here, they're all fairly well done. Again, they're the feeds, ammo feeds for the guns, the gun bay hatch holders, and like I say, that's the front landing gear bay in there. So that's a bit sparse on detail, so if you've got some colour references, you could jazz that up a little bit if you really wanted to. So there we go, so they're the main screws. The next ones are the engines. Now there's 2 different types in here. You've got a clear and see-through. The see-through are pretty nasty, I'm not going to lie to you. We'll get to them in a minute. I thought I'd like over for a minute then. Actually looks like they have Vaseline smeared on them. So not the greatest, but we'll get to them in a minute, we'll have a proper look. Now again, rivet detail, quite nice. Certainly all there, panel lines are lovely. No problems there. What they're going to fit together like, I've got no idea. If it was my kit, I'd pop them off the sprue and try them, but sadly it's not. To be honest though, by the time this is released through the month, I'll probably have a copy of this myself, because I will end up buying this kit, I know I will. I'll go and see Tim of Value Kits and get it off him. But again, all the parts look lovely. We've got a couple of control boxes there, and got nice surface detail on them. Hopefully these will close up without much trouble. The only problem you've got is there's a lot of rivet detail on top of these engines, and you're going to lose all that by sanding, so you have to add it back in. so bear that in mind when you buy the kit. Front cowlings for the engines, again nicely detailed. A little bit of flash on the back, but again nothing bad. And hopefully closing these together is not going to cause too much trouble. Now we've got the clear parts, which when I look through them they look horrific, and I'm going to zoom in. Now Tamiya do this as well, they give you clear parts and they're never clear. If you can see that, that isn't clear. That's opaque. You can see through it, but you can't see clearly. Now to me a clear part is crystal clear, and Tamiya do this, Tamiya give you frosted parts. Now I can't understand the point in doing that, because if you're having a clear part, you're doing it so you can see what's behind. Now what the hell are you going to see behind that? Seriously? You can barely see my finger, you can't see any fingerprints on my finger or nothing, because it actually looks like somebody smeared Vaseline all over it, so I can't see the point in that. And Tamiya do exactly the same thing, clear parts, but frost them. Why? Why do that? I don't understand the point of having clear parts that you can't see through. A clear part should be like canopy, crystal clear, see straight through it and see all the detail you're putting in behind. I've got Tamiya's Sawfish 148, and that's got clear parts in, and they are actually clear, so you can see through it. If I remember right, they are. Anyway, I'll double check in a bit. So that's a little bit disappointing, because if I was to put something behind, some writing, okay, you can read it. The shine off it, but those engines, you're going to have all that detail in there, it's going to be hidden because you can't see it, so it just seems a little bit of a shame to do that. But £55 kit or £50 kit, I'm not sure how much Tim sells them for. I'll get Lee to pop that on the video before it goes up. It's an extra bonus, you don't have to use it. If you did, if it was me and I was going to use it, I would use 1/2 clear, 1/2 normal, paint 1/2, or you could use them both clear and just paint 1/2, might be the easier way of doing it. So from one angle it looks like it's painted, from the other it looks like it's clear. That's the way I'd do it, just to be a bit different. But the clarity on those is quite appalling. River details there, so again you're going to get all your washes in, but it's just a shame it's not a little bit clearer. It looks really rough as well, but like I say, it's still a nice little touch to get. And again, you know, you didn't have to throw it in there, but you do get it. Right, you got your little box of goodies. I had a quick look in this. This was what I was interested in seeing, rather than taking anything out. So let's have a look. See what we've got. We've got clear parts, rubber tyres, which are very nice. We've got a PE seat belts and harnesses, which are absolutely superb. And we've got an acetate instrument panel, and we've got the white metal landing gear. Now we've got two for the rear, and I think we've got two different front ones, have we? I'm assuming so. So that's what you're getting there. So clear parts, let's have a little butcher's what we get. Ah, right, I see. So we've got a clear instrument panel. So you obviously put this behind like so, and it shows through. So does that mean, yeah, you can paint it up, I assume, and then pop that behind and you can see it. So that's quite a nice touch, adds a little bit extra to it. Clear parts, let's find something to read. That'll do it again. Let's just have a look, see what we get. Obviously you get the distortion from the curve part. It's not that bad. Not too bad at all. Clarity is quite good, probably give it an 8 out of 10 on the clarity. All the smaller parts, navigation lights and what have you, they look spot on as well. Shouldn't give any dramas. Now the main bits, not too bad at all. You got the front screen, which again is actually fairly clear. There's a little bit of distortion, nothing major though. The middle screen, about the same, probably not as clear, but it is curved. And the bulletproof, the armour glass for the front as well, which again is fairly clear. So not bad glass, not bad glass at all. I've seen a lot worse and a lot better, but can't complain. There's nothing to really complain about at all. Again, lovely rivet detail on it. Here's my phone, sorry I left it on. Lovely rivet detail on it, and you can't fault that at all. I'm going to pop these back in because I always put the clear parts back in the bag to save them being damaged. Now what I am interested in doing, if I buy kits myself, I will compare it to this kit, and I'll see if that mismoulding's on the fuselage and if the clear parts are as bad as what I think they are in this. So we'll see about that, have a little look, and I'll report back. I'll pop it in the comments of the actual review and see what it is. I will definitely be getting one of these, so I'll be interested to see how it squares up against this one, if it's the actual mould, if it's a one-off, or is it an actual fault on the kit itself. So they've got white metal legs, so you've got the two rears and two fronts. So as you can see, two rears there, so that's a nice little added detail. Also gives strength to the model as well. Always remember on this, put nose weight in there as well, because it will be a tail sitter. We've got two front ones, so I'm assuming it's slightly different. Yeah, number one and number two. Bottom one's got a thicker pin on it, so it must be that one with a different wheel we had. So there's a choice of those as well. They're really well cast. There's a seam up them, but you know, get yourself a decent file or sander on there, and you'll get that off in no time. But again, nice extra touch to get. That instrument panel, that's quite good to be fair. I'm going to zoom in so you can have a look. It's not on the level of say Edward Zoom, but behind that clear part, it's going to give them a nice bit of added detail. Again, the photo etched belts, these are absolutely superb. These are on par with Tamiya's steel PE. They are lovely, they can add a lot of detail. Give them a little blast under a lighter to anneal them a little bit, and you'll be spot on there. But they are very, very nice. Like I say, that's on par with Tamiya's belts. So that's really nice. Quite impressed by that. That's a real nice touch. And the tyres, now from what I've seen, these don't have a seam across the middle, which is absolutely fantastic. If they don't, we shall see now. Let's get them out. No, they don't. They're absolutely stunning. We're going to keep it zoomed in because it makes it easier. So we've got four tyres, two rears, two fronts. There is a very, very slight seam on the middle of the back. When I was wrong, it's barely visible though, and I can't even really feel it. There's a little bit of flash. I think it'll be a very light run over with a sponge sander, and that'll be gone. But the tread pattern's lovely on them. Sidewall pattern's not bad either. A name on there, manufacturer's name, if they came with them. They may not have. Would have been nice, but again, supplied extra part, absolutely brilliant. Got the two different front ones, so obviously one's smooth, one's treaded, and again, slight seam on both, but sidewall detail is rather nice, so I can get them both in shot. So again, nice touch. Give it a quick over one sander on that and you'll be sorted. Shouldn't have any problems there, so I'll chuck that back in there as well. We don't lose any of these parts. I think they're nice added extras. They can add a lot to the kit. The white metal landing gear adds a lot of strength, so you don't need to worry about your landing gear snapping or stretching. Rubber tyres are good. A little bit of a seam there, but you're always going to get that. I couldn't see it at first, so it shows how small it actually is. So again, a nice touch, not too bad at all. And obviously the clear parts, not bad at all. Not bad. I've seen a lot worse, but I've seen better. PE looks stunning, and that nice little instrument panel back, that's a nice little touch as well. So overall, it's going to make a nice, decent model by the look of it. There's a few faults on it. I'll be interested to see if they carried over to the one I buy. Maybe they are, maybe they aren't. We'll just see. But nice lot of kit parts in there, so can't fault that at all for the money. Decals, we have got, nice to see the swastikas in there, even though they're in halves, but they are there. It's a good way of getting around selling them. So decals, I'm going to zoom out so you guys can see properly. There we go. So not a lot of them on the sheet, never is. With 262s, the sheet I've just done wasn't a load of them. Quite glossy, quite patchy as well. If you can see on this one here, there you go. I can get the lights going. See how patchy they are there. Hopefully that'll disappear once the off the backing paper. You've got a choice of two different schemes. Obviously you can go aftermarket if you can, if you want. To be honest, I more than likely would. I might try one or two before, but things like these were a nightmare on my Hobby Horse one. I know it's a smaller kit, I know it's a different manufacturer. These may be okay. They just don't look the greatest. So it may be worth picking your scheme and trying one of the ones you're not going to use on the different scheme and see what they're like, see if they fall to bits. They may be okay, they may be not. Nice to see the swastikas in there, even though they're in halves, they are there. A little bit of careful movement, you can get them in a position where you want them. I've got an aftermarket sheet, I'll probably use those. Balkan Cross, or Balkan Cruise as I was slated the other day by all the guys for saying. Again, they're okay, two different types, and you've got the cutouts for the fuselage as well. All the stencils, they look okay. They're all in register. I can't see any problems along those lines at all. So you shouldn't really have any problems there. But they just don't look the greatest at all. They look rather lacking. So I think you take your chance with those, whether they go down okay or not. They don't look overly thick, which is a good thing, and there's not a massive amount of carrier paper around the actual decal itself, so that's a good point. But to me, they just look a little bit ropey. So I think for the sake of an extra, you know, $10, $15, $12 or so, get yourself an aftermarket decal sheet. There's not much to these at all. And have a look. You could probably get away with using the actual larger ones, but I think the stencil data might be worth an investment in. I'll pop that back in there quickly. Last but not least, the instructions. Trumpeter instructions. Maybe not the best, not the most, there's no pizzazz or flash and bang with them, but they do the job. They're a little bit confusing on my Challenger, but they're certainly not the worst. Oh, this isn't a fold, that one, is it? Oh, that's nice. Excellent. Always good to get a colour call out. I'm going to zoom it straight out. So we've got a full colour call out there, which is absolutely superb. Always helps. One-sided for both schemes, that's really nice. It is a booklet, which is good. You got your full sprue layouts, including all the extras, the metal parts, the nose wheel, the instruments, acetate. You start off with your seat, applying all the PE, down to the cockpit. Very, very basic cockpit, probably not even 20 parts to it. Detail it up, it will look quite nice. It's a nice big kit. Again, you could go totally aftermarket, add full resin, whatever you wanted to this, or you could just go the cheaper route and add an Eduard zoom set. You remove all the raised detail and put in the colour PE, which they do look great. I think it kind of spoils a little bit of the fun of dry brushing, washing the cockpit and that. I don't think the cockpit's bare enough to warrant that. If it was very bare and very, you know, sparse, I'd say yeah, maybe add that. But I don't think it is. I think it doesn't warrant that. I think you could make quite a nice job out of this. Maybe a little bit of scratch building in there, add some wiring detail and what have you. Same with the undercarriage. You can make a really nice model. This moves on to getting the landing, the cockpit together on the bulkhead, wheels and tyres. So you got nose undercarriage for a narrow and the wide, so I assume that's the only difference. I can't see anything else in there. Onto the gun bays, attaching them, front landing gear again, assembling the engines, which look quite complicated to be fair. And again, I guess how far you want to go with this is depending on what you're using. You're all this beautiful detail that you're adding here and here, that if you're going to use the non-see-through part, you're not going to see. So if you're going to use the clear parts, maybe this would be worth all, you know, painting it up perfectly and, you know, detailing it so you can see it through. Not that you can see through the clear parts that well, but you certainly see the different colours, tones, maybe washes and what have you you've got in there. So it might be worth looking at, definitely. Free to button them up, so you see what I mean, where you might have spent, you know, a couple of days detailing this. As soon as you put the non-clear parts on, it's gone. You can't see it. So if you're using the clear parts, you're probably worthwhile spending your time. If you're not, you can still do it. You know it's there, but you can't be seen, obviously. Main gear, cabin assembly, flaps, ailerons, etc. All very straightforward. Nothing complicated there. Instructions are nice and clear. Actually, they're not complicated. They're not confusing. They're not too busy in each step, so it does make it, you know, quite easy to go through the build doing it. It's not adding a lot of drama to it. I'm building Tammy's 132 Mustang at the minute, and you've got to be on the ball with those instructions because you go through assembling bits and you get past it. And you look up this little square box with add this, drill this hole, and you've missed it. You're like, oh. So it's nice to get back to a simple instruction sheet. Everything's clear and concise. All the colour call outs are there for you, which again is ideal. I didn't actually see colour call outs at the front. Nope, so they must be at the back unless they're on the colour sheet. Get the wing sections together, get the engines on, the fuselage halves, all the interior components, the rear, it's a radio, isn't it? Compass goes in the back. Getting the fuselage halves together. Now that would be my main worry about this kit, how well they're going to go together. There's a lot of surface detail up here to remove and put back, should that be, but it's just a case, unfortunately. You got the machine gun cabin cover installation. Doesn't mention a difference. There is another one in there, so obviously Trumpeter do a different variant of this. Getting the wing roots on, landing gear on. So like I say, there's nothing complex. Horizontal stabilizers, rudder assembly, getting the canopy on. Horizontal stabilizers, the rudders, all on there together. So there's nothing really complicated with this to put the canopies on. So 20 pages, all very straightforward. There's nothing overly complex about that. So maybe you're thinking of tackling your first 132 kit. Could be a good one. How well it's going to fit together, I do not know. Certainly interested in finding out. But it looks a decent rendition of the 262. Right, colour call out. Now, like I say, I've seen no paint call outs at all together to tell you what is what. So I'm just going to have a little look through. We've got the front page, which has got all your, I missed this actually, all your, you know, warnings and what have you. Don't be, you know, eating Pringles while you're, you know, super gluing, I don't know, paintbrushes to your eyes, and, you know, snorting decal softener with your ears. And then just a little tip about applying decals. Maybe Lee should have a look at that one. Whether I see this or not, I don't know, but yeah, maybe Lee should read that. Have a read that, Lee. Might help you with those Airfix ones. But like I said, I haven't seen any paint call outs at all. That's really unusual not to get a list of the required paints. It's a little bit strange. Obviously all the call outs are in there. They're in Mr. Hobby. I don't know that. Let me have a look. 122 should be RLM82. No, there, Mr. Colour. Let's just check another one. 121. Yeah, so they're in Mr. Colour call outs, which is basically the non-aqueous Mr. Hobbies, so the ones you can get in the States. We struggle getting them in the UK, but you can convert them, and to be honest, they're all RLM colours, so they're straightforward. There's plenty of different manufacturers out there. Nice to get the colour call outs. Always adds an extra dimension because you actually see the aircraft in its paint scheme, which is always good. Black and white, absolutely useless as a paint scheme. I can never understand doing that. Colour call out makes so much difference. Typical Splinter camo, halfway up. There's a little bit of mottling on there, a little bit of mottling on the tail. Sorry, out of shot. A little bit of mottling on the tail, a little bit of mottling on the lower half of the fuselage. Typical Splinter pattern on the wings. If I was going to build it, I'd do it the exact same way I did the 148th. Rather than hard masking to them with masking tape, I used plastic hard, raised off the surface 2-3 mil with a bit of white tack, sprayed it over, kept the angle exactly the same on the straight edges, and what that did, that gave a beautiful, it was still hard edge, but it was a soft edge, hard edge, that makes sense. There was a little bit of a transition between the different paint shades, but no overspray. So while it still looked hard edge, it wasn't a perfect straight line. I think it gave a brilliant effect. If you want to see that kit, go on the International Scale Modelers site. Look in the Night Fighter SIG and the build and the reveal. There's full pictures of it in there, and I put it on Facebook as well. And if you're on Facebook, it's my profile picture. So that's great. Typical Splinter camo seems to be almost the same for most of the World War II. They all share a similar pattern. Undercarriage, again, showing decal locations. Not a massive amount of decals as we've seen, so it's not going to be a very long decaling session at all. All the way through to the second scheme. Which one would I like to do? Bit of colour on this one, but I do like this one with this little pattern on the tail. I think that's quite smart, quite funky. No mottling on that, and for my liking, the that should be a bit higher up where the transition comes from the top to lower fuselage. That's just my personal choice, the way I like them to look. Either one of those is a cracking scheme. That one's a little bit too colourful for me. I like this with the yellow. I think that's quite smart. So that'll be the one I picked, and that was in Lister pad, wherever the hell that is, no idea. 1944, and the first one was 1945. So you've got a couple of different schemes and they look absolutely superb. So like I say, always a nice little bonus to get a colour call out. Makes a massive difference to a kit. Gives you that impression straight away when you bought the kit, what it actually looks like, what you can actually achieve through the kit. And I think it gives you a little bit of incentive to get it built. Black and white are useless in my opinion. I don't know why manufacturers are still doing that. Colour call out, okay, it probably costs a bit more. Kits aren't cheap anyway. I mean, £55, it's a good kit for £55, but still not cheap at the end of the day. So it's nice to get a colour call out. Airfix are still doing kits with black and white call outs. As to a Tamiya, a lot of manufacturers are, and it's a real shame. A little bit of extra money. They may be older kits, but there's no excuse to why a company can't just put a bit more time and effort into an older kit and put a colour call out in there, because it does make a massive difference. But there we go. It looks a cracking kit. It's got a few flaws. Clear engine cowlings are a bit rubbish, I will be honest, but I wouldn't use those personally. I think they're a bit gimmicky. That's my opinion. A little bit of soft detail here and there on some of the gun bay covers and the front nose. You got that weird little bit of moulding underneath the front fuselage, which I would check mine when mine comes, and the decals look a little bit ropey as well. They may be okay. It's a chance you take. I might add aftermarket. To be honest, on the scheme I chose, there's only a number 8 and the stencil markings, so I don't really need the stencil markings for it. The Balkan Cross, I've got plenty of them in decal drawer, so make away with just the stencil sheets. But overall, for £55 or £50, looks absolutely brilliant. If you want one, go and see Tim at Value Kits on Facebook. Just put Value Kits into Facebook, pop it in there, go and have a look, and ask him for a price to sort you out. Highly recommended by me. I love the 262. Absolutely stunning kit. Go and get yourself one as well. While I'm on it as well, the Hobby Boss 148 is about £15, and that is an amazing kit for the money. That suffers a lot of fit issues as well. Not really, the parts don't fit. Some fit like a glove, others need a bit of filler. It's just a bit random on it, but it's an also cracking kit as well. But this is definitely one I'll be adding. So you'll see me add one of these to my stash very soon. So there you go guys, another review from me. Thanks for watching. Catch you next time, and I'll see you on the forums.